Miss A got a lot to say on all the things we go through within the day. Politics, dating, recipes, traveling, and yep, of course, I'm the karaoke queen. I take no L's, I'm always booking flights. This is my lovely lunatic Leo life. Kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? This is my lovely lunatic Leo life. Kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? The one and only S.A. If you missed season 1, here's just a recap of who Miss A is. That's my girl Lola Sky. You know, I just love to travel and I love to share my experiences with you. And I want to motivate you to live your best life. And it could be any way. I love karaoke, I love to eat, and I love to go places. And I love elephants, as you can see. But just stay on this ride. I have so much to share with you this season. Thank you for people who've tuned in the past. And thank you for my new followers. I appreciate y'all. You can listen to my podcast on all music platforms. Welcome to my lovely lunatic Leo life. This is the one and only Miss A, and I'm back with a vengeance. It's been a minute since I've been gone, but now I'm back. Just a little bit about my podcast, my lovely lunatic Leo life. I had this podcast for about 3 years, but I took a year off. So I guess technically 2 years because I did diddly squats, and now I'm back. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm revamping everything. I'm getting a new logo made. It's going to be a whole new type of thing. All right. So allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Miss A. M to the ISSA. No way. Okay. So just a little bit. Just for music licensing purposes, I'm going to be singing the songs that come to my head throughout the show. I can't play the real songs yet because I'm not trying to be sued. But nevertheless, you will be entertained. You will be entertained. So about my lovely lunatic Leo life, is pretty much about my life and how I like to live my life to the fullest. I'm 39 years old, no kids, not married, I'm single, and even though I want kids and I want a husband, I'm still living my best life. I did a solo trip to Thailand in 2019. I'm from Ghana. I go to Ghana quite often, and I'm just here to let you hear my experiences and then we can relate to each other. But I'm not only going to talk about myself. Of course, not everyone wants to talk about me. I'm going to have some people come on and talk about other things like financial literacy, the gastric sleeve or gastric bypass. Of course, we'll have some ladies talk a girls' night to keep it fun and funky. I'll even have some men come up here and discuss life as a single father. I already got my lineup, you know what I'm saying? So if you would like to come into the show, you can hit me up on my lovely lunatic Leo life on Instagram and DM me, and I will be more than happy to help you. Okay. So just a little bit about my background. I do have a radio background. I used to have a radio show at William Patterson University from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. This was like in 2004. So this was so long ago. I had like 4 listeners, but I've grown since then. I was at Streets 96 and Streets 105 with DJ Qua in Newark. I was with Triple Blaze Radio in Jersey City. I used to intern for Wendy Williams, Interscope, and Power 105. And honey, I have a story about Miss Wendy Williams, okay? Surprise! And it's a little bit crazy, but if we have time at the end of the show, then we could talk about it. But for now, I do want to just let you know a little bit about me. I moved to Ghana when I was 30. I'm 39 years old now. I moved to Ghana when I was 30 for about 7 months, and I went over there for a man. Yes, girl, a man. And I ended up secretly getting married to this man. And I've known him. I met him 8 years ago. We always communicated through that time. But I was just tired of the dudes here in Jersey. I was living with someone at the time and we weren't working out. So I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to just go to Ghana and see what happens. I didn't plan on getting married. I was kind of tricked into it. But that's another story for my memoir, which is coming soon. And so I got married. And as soon, mind you, I was staying with my uncle. So when I got married, we never lived together. I was still staying with my uncle. Nobody knew I was married. And we got married in February 23rd of 2013. And I left Ghana in April. So it was only like 2 months or so that we were together after we got married. I came to America, was doing good for a year. We always communicated through WhatsApp. I ended up getting pregnant by somebody else. Yes, honey. A year. I was celibate for a year though. Okay. And I got pregnant by somebody else at 34 where I thought I wanted kids. And unfortunately, I made the decision to terminate the baby, which is on my other podcast from a couple years ago. Actually, from 2020 is when I talked about it. That's happened in 2016. So it took me some time to really not get over it, but it took time for me to be able to talk about it publicly because that was a huge decision in my life that, I do regret, but I kind of don't regret it because that led me to travel more. After that, I went through a deep depression for a long time, and my friend invited me to go with her to Cayman Islands for her birthday. And mind you, me and her weren't close like that. We worked together at a radio station and might have hung out once. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go with Cayman Islands, get my mind off of things. And honey, Cayman Islands was so beautiful. I've been there 4 times, okay? I met a guy over there, and it was just great. I love Cayman Islands, So me going to Cayman Islands started me tripping to a lot of other places. I planned a trip to Thailand in 2019, and it started off with 6 people going. But of course, when money's due and everything like that, people dwindle it down. So I wasn't expecting to go by myself, but when it came down to it, I had to go by myself. And you know what? It was one of the most best trips I've ever taken in my life. I felt like I was supposed to be here alone by myself. You know what I mean? And it just, my number one comment of that trip is everything happens for a reason. From then on, I have had that mindset that everything happens for a reason. Not everything happens the way you want it or when you want it. It happens when you're mentally prepared for it or when you're ready for it, So my trip to Thailand, I love elephants. So I did a whole day with elephants. I did my research with due diligence to make sure I go to places where animals aren't abused, And I also I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I took cooking classes. I went to Chiang Mai first, which is in the northern part of Thailand, for about 5 days. And then I went to Phuket, which is in the southern part. And that's where the beachy stuff is. Chiang Mai is more in the mountainous area. I even did a scooter bike or motorcycle up a mountain for a whole day. It was a whole tour. It was only 3 of us. And I'm a big girl. Well, back then I was bigger. So I was like, yo, what if a tiger comes chasing me and I can't even go faster on this fucking motorbike because I'm going up a hill with my big ass. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I was nervous, but I loved it. It was just an amazing experience to go to Thailand. So I say all that to say, most people are scared to travel by themselves because of safety reasons, which of course, no matter where you go, you have to be careful. You have to be safe. You can't just go off with anybody. You know what I mean? Be aware of your surroundings. But I wouldn't let anybody stop you from going to experience the world because trust me, it will change your life. You know what I mean? You just see life differently. You see how people live differently. So I encourage you to travel, even if you don't do it by yourself, which I still do encourage it because you can go out on your own time. You don't have to, you can do anything whenever you want. If you want to sleep all night and nobody's going to bother you if they want to go out. You know what I mean? So I do encourage you to travel by yourself. If not, definitely travel with others. So another thing that I added to my book is a vlogger. I started vlogging in 2020 when I went to Jamaica for my 38th birthday. And it's easy, not easy, but I'm not great at it yet, but I'm getting better as time goes on. And I love vlogging. So I've added a videographer to my list on top of a podcaster. I did a movie. I had a small part, but it was still a good part. I acted in a movie, so add actress to my list. What else? Videography, acting, podcasting, blogging. I used to be a blogger too. And I'm writing my memoir basically for the last 10 years of my life of me moving to Ghana, secretly getting married, having an abortion 4 years later, and then travel. And it's going to be 3 different segments because so much has happened in the last 10 years. But it's like in increments, like, honey, trust me, you will be entertained. All right. And 2021, I had the gastric sleeve. This is why I will have some people come up and get to talk so we can discuss more about it. I was 280 pounds. I'm 5'10", so some people don't think I'm that big, but I was a big girl, and I was big for like 15 years. I used to play sports in high school, so I wasn't as big as I thought I was, but I was a big girl. So I did the gastric sleeve, and now I've gone down to 230. I've lost 50 pounds in honestly, I lost 50 pounds in less than 4 months, but I stayed at that area because I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I'm trying to work on now is my confidence. After I had the gastric sleeve, in 2020, I had it September 2021. So September to December, That's when I was in the house. I was just recovering, and I really was going through a mental situation. Not a bad situation, but I was like mentally and spiritually changing and physically changing. I don't know if it's because I wasn't eating. I started contemplating life and how I'm living it. And I guess I was going through a depression, but I did get a therapist at least 2 months before my surgery, so we can have a flow. And she has helped me tremendously through that time from September to December when when I was going through what I was going through. I was on a liquid diet for a month. I love to drink water, and I can gulp water down, but after my surgery, even still now to this day, I can't fully drink water the way I want to. I have to take my time with it. So it was a lot of mental stuff that was going on in my head, and at the same time, I just broke up with my boyfriend, who made it worse when we were together. I think he was insecure about me losing weight and looking hella good. He thought he was the one that looked good in the relationship based off of what he said now that I think about it. But he didn't have no job. He wasn't motivated to do anything. I was lifting him up, but he was not lifting me up. So I had to dead that. So once I left him, it kind of helped me a little bit to just focus on myself and not focus on him and his complaints and what he wanted. And you know what I mean? So that's why I'm single now. Okay. And so in December, after I was finally healing, I was starting to be able to eat. Lo and behold, I caught COVID. So that was a whole nother strain on me. I almost died from COVID. And I'm the type, I never want to get vaccinated. I just felt like just be safe, you'll be okay. I still don't want to get vaccinated. I'm gonna let you know right now. However, I really went through another emotional thing that time. I had it all of December. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. I was coughing and throwing up, but not anything from my stomach. It was like throwing up from my chest. I had COVID pneumonia. I was in the hospital for 4 days, a fever every night. Luckily, my oxygen levels were good, so that's the only thing I think that saved me. But I feel like if my oxygen levels were down, like most people, I don't think I would have made it. And I feel like if I get it again, I'm going to give up because that shit was tough, okay? It was really tough. It was bad. Man. So going through that brought me to, that's 4 months of going through a mental, spiritual, and physical awakening. You know what I mean? I don't want to say stress because it helped me to who I am now. No lie. January came, I still had pneumonia, so I didn't really work. But I just realized it just opened my mind up, and I got more confident with my weight loss. I've always been a confident girl, somewhat confident. Everyone thought I was so confident because I wear whatever I wanted. Even when I was a big girl, I do whatever I wanted. I live my life how I wanted. But now that I've lost this weight, it brought a whole nother thing of confidence to me. And not that I say I'm better than anybody else, but now I'm focusing on me, and things that I've wanted for this year has already happened. I've already hit 4 goals in 2022, and it's only 3 months in. I'm also planning to move to Texas at the end of this year. I'm doing my 40th birthday solo trip to Zanzibar, Tanzania by myself. And I'm also planning a group trip to Ghana in December, God willing. That's why I need 2 jobs to be able to afford all this. My number one thing about it is to really move to Texas and just start new. She asked, is there anybody who has anything to say? I stood up, and I already had practiced this speech in my head for so long. So I said, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to interview you for a project, and you gave me the wrong number. So if you feel bad for me, here's my resume. So she took the resume, and they called me back to come and intern. So I was souped. So that's when I started interning for 3 months, and then I was fired. Fast forward to a year later, I'm working at Bed Bath & Beyond in Wayne. And I was literally, it was meant to be. I was walking past the door to go to the bathroom as she was walking in. So we walked into each other. And I was like, hi, Wendy. I used to intern for you. My name's Adrian. She's like, yeah, I remember you, which I didn't believe her. But she was like, okay, walk with me. So we're walking and we're talking. She's like, so what are you doing? And I was like, I'm still in college. I'm just working here part-time. And then she was like, would you like to babysit my son? Or are you free to babysit my son? And in my head, I'm like, hell, mother effing yeah. What? I'm ready to babysit. Listen, I can babysit. I can do whatever you want me to do as long as I'm with you. So she was like, all right, well, come by this weekend and you can meet Kevin and, little Kevin. He was like 5 or 6 at the time. So I started babysitting for her. Then eventually I started tutoring Kevin. And then she was like, you know what? If you want to come back and intern, you could be the head intern. What? Miss Wendy, yes? Okay, so I had more responsibilities now. Now I'm talking to celebrities, managers to help them come to the show or to an event Wendy's holding. I'm I'm vetting new interns coming in. People have to ask me stuff to do stuff, okay? So I was the head, not really the HNIC, I was the head intern in charge, So that was a great time. I enjoyed it. And one day, after being there for a year, me and I even went to Puerto Rico and Vegas with Wendy. That's when she met Charlamagne. So when she actually met Charlamagne, I was there. It was in Puerto Rico. And I met him at the same time. And after that, that's when he started coming on the show. So he would be at their house. Sometimes I'd be at their house for the weekend. She never wanted to pay me. I'd be there from Friday to Sunday and get like $80 when I should be getting like $250, $300. But you know what? It's Wendy. I didn't care. Whatever. So, when I went to Puerto Rico, Vegas, she wanted to give me like 2 something. And I was like, that's really not enough. And she was like, well, she told me off and was like, well, you don't need to get that much. But eventually she did give me like 5 something it was like a week. Mind you, I missed school. I didn't care either. I missed the classes. And I was like, I'm just going away with Wendy, Puerto Rico and Vegas. So after that, it was a little bumpy. Some things, she was kind of standoffish sometimes, but whatever. Like I said, I was happy to be there. And one day, me and my good friend were going to an event when she was doing comedy or hosting a comedy show at Comics nightclub in the city. So me and my friend went, and one of Kevin, her husband's friends, tried to holler at my friend Sonia. But girls, when you see somebody that you're not feeling and he's all up in you, you like kind of wink to your friend like, all right, pull me away. That's what she did. So I was like, all right, we're about to go to the bathroom. So this little short ass, ugly ass Jamaican who reminded me of, I can't remember his name, but he reminded me of another ugly ass Jamaican. He told Kevin. So the next thing I knew, I was getting let go from WBL, from interning for Wendy, like the next week. And Wendy didn't tell me. She had Nicole and Taryn tell me. And I was just like, damn, all right. And I figured it was because of that situation. That's the only thing I could think of. Kevin told Wendy to fire me. So she let me go. I left on good terms. I even bought her a card. I thanked her for everything she did for me, even after tutoring and interning her son. Okay. So after that, my friend called me. He was like, I think Wendy's talking about you on the radio. And she said, this intern who used to babysit and tutor my son from New Jersey tried to seduce Charlamagne in my house one time. She tried to sleep with him. I don't know where this came from. It was random. Like, this was months after I left. Like, why did my name come up? I mean, she didn't say my name on the air, but if somebody called me saying, I think she's talking about you, and then you describing me, and my family and friends know who you're talking about, okay? So eventually I hit up Charlamagne on MySpace, like, yo, what is Wendy talking about? What did you say? Why is she saying this? He's like, Wendy, she's blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, tell her to keep my name out my mouth. Out her mouth. So fast forward, this was like in June or something. Fast forward to October, me and my girls was outside for Halloween. I was a French maid. I had on a scandalous ass outfit, but for some reason it was extremely warm that day. Like, it was like almost 80 degrees. I remember because I wasn't cold, and I had a short dress and a sleeveless dress as a French maid. So I saw Nicole. She was Wendy's talent booker. And she was with one of her friends, and me and my friends let Nicole and her friend come sit with us at our table and just party all night long. Next thing I know, the next day, my other friend calls me. He's like, yo, what were you for Halloween? I was like a French maid. He was like, yo, when he's talking mad shit. I'm like, what? So apparently she goes on my MySpace on the air with the interns. Like, oh my God, look at her. She looks a hot mess. Nicole told me she saw her. She thinks she's all that. I could make sure she's blacklisted from radio. I could do that. And I was just so hurt. Like, this is Wendy Williams talking about me. At the time, I'm like 24, 25, trying to get into the radio game. And you're trying to say you're going to make sure I'm not in it. Like, you don't want me to be in it. And that hurt my feelings. Like, now I could talk about it. I love to talk about it, actually. But then that really hurt my feelings. Like, what did I do to Wendy? I left on good terms. I cared for your son. I loved your son. Like, what did I do to you to make you hate me enough to make sure I don't get on radio? You know what I mean? So that's what happened. I called the station. I spoke to her and she was like, well, you're being paranoid. No one's talking about you. I'm not even thinking about you. I'm like, well, everyone knows who you're talking about. Instead of worrying about me, you need to worry about your cheating ass husband. And I hung up the phone on Wendy Williams. Yes, I motherfucking did. Ooh, that's my nail popped off. Yeah. Because she deserved it. She deserved it. Like, how dare you try to take that from me? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do anything to her. So that's how it ended with Wendy. And, now it's just like, I'm living my life. I'm doing what I got to do. And I've continued this radio shit. Even though she tried to knock me down, I got back up and I kept going. And here I am now, years later. I've been in this radio game for 20 freaking years, okay? Or more. And I'm just enjoying it. And I feel like my time is just coming now. So imagine being in the game for 20 years and just now is your glow up. So I just want to let you know, no matter what happens in life, time is gonna, things will happen in the time it's supposed to. We can't rush greatness. We can't expect things to happen. We just got to believe. And I believe so strongly this year. I'm making things happen. I just say it and I believe it. And things have been happening for me. So I'm super excited to share what the future holds with you guys. And I'm super excited to, meet new people and have you guys come to my show. So again, if you want to come on my show, or if you have something you need to promote, make sure you go to my Instagram, My Lovely Lunatic Leo Life, and just hit me up there. And then from there, we can move forward. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon.
Hey, it's Miss A, got a lot to say. On all the things we go through within the day. Politics, dating, recipes, traveling. And yep, of course, I'm the karaoke queen. I take no L's, I'm always booking flights.